Hi guys, welcome back to another Matchbox Garage video. I'm Rob and today I shall be attempting to take this hot rocker from shabby to shiny. This to me is the Ford Capri from the 70s, the Mark 1. You guys in America had it as the Mercury Capri, and in Europe this was kind of the equivalent to the Ford Mustang. So this kind of, well, Europe's, I guess, answer to or version of the Ford Mustang, and it's not as hot as the Mustang. We didn't get the V8s. We kind of had the, the straight sixes or the little V6s, this kind of thing. But yeah, they were cool little sports cars, and just a little bit smaller than the Mustang, which obviously raced around the European streets. But anyway, this one's a commission by a chap named Rob Wilson, who has been a long time follower of the channel and just fancied himself a Matchbox Garage commission. But here we are today. Now, he kind of gave me a few options. I said to him, by all means, I can make you a custom, not a problem. What kind of cars do you fancy? And he gave me a list of cars, and I'd not done this hot rocker before, so I thought, well, now's the opportunity. And actually, he then on the last video, the Camaro, the flip out, the Chameleon paint, and said, hey, I'd loved it to see my custom, whatever it may be, in that kind of flip, or what do they call it, the colour shift. And of course, I obliged with that today. But yeah, so we got 3 rivets on this car. 2 on the front, 1 on the back. Now, the one on the back is large enough to take a screw. The ones on the front are not. So this car is going to go together by not by screws today. It'll be kind of, I say glued back into position. I use like a UV torch and special glue so that it kind of almost looks invisible. Try and make it look as stock as possible. But anyway, here's the underside of the car, the base. These wheels, they won't be staying today. They'll go into my spares bin. And then just trying to pop them out here without breaking the green suspension piece there. But inspecting the base, it's all good. That'll polish up later on. Unfortunately, the windscreen on this car is broken, but I do have a replacement from a donor car today. So that'll be going in my parts bin. You never know if and when I may need it. The interior here, all dusty and grimy, but very usable. It does have a tow hook on this car. This is a sports car. It's not going to tow anything, so that will be coming off. And then, yeah, this huge engine. And I'd imagine, if you put this car into true scale, this engine would be something out of a tank, I think. But, yeah, so you can see those front rivets there. Too small for me to drill down. But I'll tidy them up. And once it's glued back into position, it almost look like it's natural and never been drilled. But the main casting here goes into my foot-long hot dog jar, covered into some hot water, and incoming a tablespoon of caustic soda. Very annoying when I chuck it down the side of the jar there, but I don't want to waste it, so just try and grab it there. Not a lot going on within the first kind of 10-15 seconds. You can see a little bit of fizzing away. It is doing its job in there, but I'll put this to one side and work on other bits in the meantime. So we've got the interior here into some warm water. And that comes out looking as good as new. But I'm just going to take off this tow hook. It was in very good condition, but like I say, sports car shouldn't have a tow hook. So I'm just going to kind of tidy that up a little bit further with some sandpaper. And now, there we are, look. That's that. That was kind of stuck to this base. I'll put that in my little spares box. You never know when I could need it. But I'm just going to polish up the base here. And unusually, that didn't really do anything. So I'm going to turn to the metal polish, and with this kind of polishing head, and then figuring out the speed that I need, because this goes everywhere. But I'm going to give it a nice old buff up and polish. And you can see after doing that, these get absolutely everywhere. I was covered in them. And then, you know, the kind of state of that piece. But it does polish up pretty nice. There's still some kind of remnants of the buffing compound or the metal polish. But then I'll then go back over it with the steel wire end. And yeah, it's getting somewhere now. And I'll just kind of finish off by hand polishing that with a cloth. But we're now using my Pound Shop matte black auto spray paint just for the interior piece. You know, this is cheap stuff. I wouldn't use it on the main kind of body. Well, maybe I would, but today this matte black will be just on the interior. And to be fair, it does dry very well. It does dry very smooth, and for the price I can't really grumble. It's more so the speed of it as well. You know, I could put a satin in my airbrush and I've got to spend another 10 minutes kind of in between paints trying to clean it out again, but I'm very happy with that. And that'll dry up later on in a nice satin finish. But anyway, here's the window section from my donor car. And the window there in very good condition. And it just goes into my Pledge Revive It solution there. But then turning our attention back to the main casting, it's been probably, I want to say at least 15, maybe 20 minutes. And there's still not a lot going on, but I'm going to chuck in this engine piece because I'm going to be repainting that alongside the main casting. And that engine piece was probably in for less than a minute before rinsing it off. So, you know, you could tell that the solution there was really doing its job. But this Capri was holding up pretty strong. I think probably only around a 47.4% paint removal on that. So I actually had to go with a second lot of caustic soda off camera, and then eventually I've polished it up and it looks pretty nice. I think you'll agree, polished up. Being a commission, I always put in that little bit of extra time and attention, making sure that the body of the casting there is as good as I can really make it. And then we're going to be going on with a single, relatively thin coat of primer using the Tamiya Fine Surface Primer in white. And against the light there you can see how smooth that is, beautiful. And it's been perhaps 15 minutes, it's fully dried. Now, In the last video where I done the Chameleon or flip paint or colour shift, there were quite a few comments of, you know, try it over a white base, or try it over a chrome base or a silver base, or a polished body. You know, it'll be a much better effect, etc, etc. So I thought, okay, let's give it a go. So this is silver chrome. And I'll be using this for the engine piece as well. And it's a Tamiya acrylic. But it really is a lovely little paint. What I've been using it for is I add this a tiny amount to any kind of gloss colour, and it just makes it like a metallic. Although it does finish in like or dry in like a satin finish. But we're going to be using the Green Stuff World Colour Shift Metal in the Royal Burgundy. And like I mentioned, this now kind of mimicking a polished casting, or at least it's over like a silver, and you can see the kind of pinkish colour in the cup there. Even though on the side of the bottle and the picture it showed kind of like a cross between burgundy, blue and like a lighter colour. But yeah, this was coming out pink, which was rather odd, but there we go. I thought we'll go with it. You know, after 3 or 4 coats, perhaps we'll see how it turns out. I didn't like it. It just went like some kind of powdery baby pink, and all the hard effort and hours up to this point wasted. It was late at night, I wanted to go to bed, but I knew I had to restart again. So here we are. This is actually now the following day. What I did is I obviously took all that paint off. I rubbed it back down, polished it up again. I went through the kind of the standard motion of putting the primer on and then bringing on the gloss black, as the instructions, to be fair, say, and as I done on the last casting, and as I will be doing going forward. So again, you can see in the cup there the pink colour, but as I'm spraying this on, I don't understand it. I don't understand the science behind it. It is pink in the cup, but that is very much like a greenish blue against that black, and it's looking beautiful already. And this is just the first very thin coat, and I'm going to be putting on 3 or 4 coats, and this is it. After, now you can see all that colour shift, and there is a kind of pinkish colour to it, like a pinkish burgundy. There is a really lightish kind of silver colour there. It's like this kind of dark blue, as you can see it go there. Now this is in like a satin finish. What I'll do is I'll add a lacquer to this, and what did I use? I used X22 clear, which my very good friend George Hodges, he kind of showed me the way on how to do that, and I'll explain kind of just shortly in a moment. But this is the following day. Like I say, that engine piece and the interior here, all nice and dry, nice and clean and tidy. The window section there, very happy with. But anyway, with the clear coat here, I done like a quick flash coat, and then I put on probably 6 layers of X22 clear with a 2-minute interval, medium coats, and it come up a dream. But yeah, thanks George for your hints and tips there, sir. But the kind of base here, you can see I've used some styrene to lift up the suspension, which in turn drops the car down. You see the little pin here, which, because of the aftermarket wheels and tyres that I've gone for this car, it's kind of like I guess it's like I don't know what it's called, dressmaker's pin that I've cut and I've stabbed actually into the tyre, would you believe? But it works. But anyway, it's put it all together off camera, and this is the result. So around the front, I've painted in the headlights, those side, the indicators rather, a little bit of colouring in the grille. Obviously, you got the wheels and the red line almost kind of mimicking, but yeah, the colour change, you can see it there. You can kind of see the boot section now. It's almost like a burgundy colour, and then it kind of goes that green, it goes that blue. Coming around the back, I've painted in the tail lights, and then again side indicators. I've left off the rear number plate on this car. I've painted in though in the silver chrome the door handles, and then, you know, again, this car is, well, really it's about the engine and it's about that colour switch, and you know, you just can't get bored. It's what I'll do, hold on to the end of the video and I'll do some other angles. But anyway, massive thanks to my patrons as always, and thanks to everybody else. Rob, I hope you like this one, mate, and it'll be coming in the post to you soon. But yeah, you'll also see here just the engine there popping up and down. Of course it needs to be doing that for this car, but then you'll see some of the different colours, different angles, and hopefully shine on this this paint job. Very cool. I hope you'll agree. Anyway guys, I'll leave that there, and I'll see you on the next one.